So I was trying to get into the pancake stretch, which is you separate your feet and then lean forward and try to get your body as close to the ground as possible. I couldn't separate my feet enough to even feel the stretch. So from the side, what that looked like was I was sitting right here and it felt so hard to even try and get this. So what I've been doing to get this position more, not only do you need hamstring flexibility, but what my pelvis is doing, it's also anteriorly rotated. It's leaning forward. So what that means is my hamstrings are already really tight. So my adductors are pretty close to the hamstrings. So when I try and separate my feet to try and get into this position, I couldn't get it. My feet were about this far apart. Now I can get them a little bit further, and now I'm training a lot more in a further range of motion. So I was stuck here, now I'm here, and then I can also use my feet to help pull me down further. So the trick that I have done to get into that position is feel this part of your leg. You're gonna feel like a bunch of guitar strings all along it. So what you're gonna do is get the most inside portion of your leg, go to the middle. So from the knee to the hip, right here in the middle, find that first ropey thing and then put your finger underneath it and start to try and separate that tissue. So all I'm doing is pressing into the tissue, trying to put my finger between the two tissues, the muscles right here. Press up and then drag your fingers back and forth. Lightly, don't go to where there's pain, just lightly do this. Go back and forth and then go as high up this way as you can. Then come back and find the next guitar string. So working from the middle of the leg, working from the inside of the leg to the middle, that's what I meant. So find the next guitar string, do the same thing, back and forth, pressing up and then dragging back and forth. All you're trying to do is just create a shearing force to separate the tissues. This is my issue, and it might be yours too. I'm trying to separate the connective tissue, not just the muscles, because the gliding surfaces on them, that's what's getting stuck. And on top of that, my knees were bowing in too. So this is a corrective thing that I'm trying to correct. A corrective thing, trying to correct. This is what I'm trying to fix because I don't want my knees bowed in anymore. So now, go through each one of these guitar strings and separate them all the way to the hamstrings, all the way. Then do the same thing on the next leg. Then separate your legs and see how far you can go. But I caution you, go slow, because when I first did this, this was my big issue, that I couldn't try and work the splits. I could not try and separate my legs. So I wanted it so bad. After I did this and went into the stretch, I went into it too much. I almost split my sack. There's blood everywhere. I'm kidding. But there was a huge stretch to where I actually hurt the attachment to the adductors here, where they attach to the pelvis. So it hurt and I had to recover for about 3 days. I couldn't get back into this stretch. So after you do this, be aware that that increased range of motion is going to be there, most likely. So after you do that and you go into your stretch, go slow and you'll see that you start to feel that stretch. You'll be able to get further into the pancake and actually start practicing it to increase your range of motion. So I hope that helps you. Be aware of your sack, because you're gonna have increased range of motion, so do not rush. Slowly get into it. Your body's gonna learn a new position. So I hope that helps. See you guys in the next video.